Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend weather for January 27th through the 29th. Weather pattern has quieted down quite a bit, and we are looking at generally a relatively quiet weekend weather-wise. There is a couple chances for some flurries kind of overnight tonight, but nothing that's really going to cause any real problems or anything like that. And then also some lights, really snow showers and flurries Sunday afternoon, which won't really amount to anything either. Maybe a coating for that one. But basically, pretty standard weather and slightly above average temperature-wise still. Here's what's going on across the country. Here's a system that is going to make its way towards us, and it is going to bring us a flurry or two overnight, but a lot of this is kind of going to die out. We've got some gathering energy here to the side over the southwest. And a little piece of energy here that's going to try to spin up a storm that's headed in our direction for the weekend. But again, that's not really going to develop. Things aren't really going to come together in the way that they would need to in order for us to get any significant precip out of that, which is why the snow showers on Sunday afternoon into the early evening won't really amount to anything. And it might even be some of those might come in the way of sprinkles for the valley locations, Brattleboro, Bennington, places like that. So let's take a look at beyond that, though, and what's kind of interesting about our weather is for the first time all winter here up over Hudson Bay, we really are putting some cold air in place. We've had some cooler air sometimes across Canada, but we have not had a cold pool of air. This is the 500 millibar temperature anomaly and height map, which essentially shows a big dip in the jet stream across the eastern two-thirds of the United States and shows with the colors here that we do have a cold, even colder than average pool of air here across northern Canada. Really for the first time all winter that we've had some cold air in the western hemisphere. It's all been locked up over Siberia for the most part, and a piece of that has made its way over the North Pole, basically to start to give some a place for some colder air in Canada. Now, this is obviously going to give us a chance over the next week, beyond this weekend, of getting into some colder air, really some significantly colder air for the first time, really all winter. We're not guaranteed yet to get into the heart of it. Some of it may end up staying north of us in Quebec, but I just wanted to kind of point out for the first time all winter, we really have a setup where we could get some significant cold outbreak across the Northeast. My guess is with the setup here, the cold is not located a little further west, which is where we need to be for to kind of give us prolonged cold, and it's still got plenty of warm air kind of both to the west and to the east of it here across the northern hemisphere. So I don't think we're looking at a situation where we're going to see a prolonged 2-3 week stretch of bitter cold, but we could get a couple of bitter cold days out of this cold potentially sometime over the next week. Right now, it looks like towards the end of next week that would be the best chance of it, but a little too far out to really tell too much about whether that's going to happen or not. If we look at surface temperatures, we can see again that's reflected in that we do have some minus 30s and 40s here north of Hudson Bay, which again, not ridiculously cold for northern Canada this time of year, but definitely the first time we've seen numbers like that, at least widespread numbers like that, really all winter, and kind of poised to be able to rotate some of that down in here. Obviously not going to be minus 40 or anything like that, but we could see some negative numbers definitely towards the end of next week. That's definitely a possibility. Not a guarantee yet because, like I said, it could kind of get shunted out just north of us across Quebec as well. So we'll have to see. But there are some indications that we're going to get into some significant cold, really for the first time all winter here across southern Vermont. Let's take a look at that forecast. So for today, some sunny clouds. Today we're about 30 degrees for a high temperature. Overnight tonight, that system that we talked about well off to the over the Great Lakes swings through with just a couple of flurries. This is not really anything to be concerned about. Even if you're driving somewhere tonight, this would be more late overnight, maybe into tomorrow morning, the very first part of tomorrow morning. A flurry or two is possible, but nothing you're going to have to worry about from a driving standpoint. Nothing that's going to accumulate. Even the mountaintops not really accumulate anything, just a little bit of flurries in the air. Tomorrow, we're a little bit warmer. Temperatures in the mid-30s, maybe even some upper 30s for valley locations. Again, sun and clouds. More sun later in the day after starting off pretty cloudy with what's left of this system. Overnight, Saturday night into Sunday, we clear out. Temperatures fall back into the low 20s in general, and kind of set the stage for another day on Sunday with mid-30s for on average for high temperatures for us, upper 30s, maybe even close to 40 for Bennington, Brattleboro, places like that. These flurries, like I said, could be rain showers and sprinkles for the valley locations, and it's a slightly more wider or slightly more in terms of coverage and amount of flurries than on Friday overnight. But again, this doesn't really add up to more than a coating. Maybe an inch in a spot would be possible if somebody gets into a heavier snow squall, but even that I think is pretty unlikely. So basically just in the air, nothing to really be too concerned about. Some clouds linger overnight and temperatures hold in the upper 20s. So we are slightly above average still for this time of year on average for the weekend. And then if we take a look at the weekend highlights, it's a good ski weekend. We haven't had it's not been the best of snow, but we have had a decent amount of it, which has really helped bring those bases up. They've had time to groom it and things like that. And with the temperatures slightly above normal for the weekend, that'll be nice. Although the temperatures at the ski area elevations, we're still going to be below freezing, which kind of helps maintain those good ski conditions. So it should be a pretty good ski weekend after we've been pretty rough here for a lot of the winter so far. A few flurries tonight into tomorrow night. Like I was saying, nothing really to pay much attention to. Flurries or snow showers on Sunday afternoon with a light coating possible. For the higher elevations, the snow showers on Sunday will probably be rain showers in the valley locations or a mix of rain and snow. So there, no coating for places further down the valley. All right, I'll be back on Monday with a look at your work week forecast for next week. There is a potential for a couple potentials for storms next week. Definitely nothing locked in yet, and that colder air is a potential as well. So I will definitely be back with some details about that. But otherwise, thanks for supporting the channel, and thanks for subscribing to the channel. So if you haven't done that before, I'd encourage you to subscribe. Helps make sure you don't miss any of my videos, particularly when I go through the busier times and I'm posting videos at times I don't normally post videos. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons who help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy, and some of them and there are some benefits that you get for being a patron. There's a link in the description below that talks about those. And so if you're interested in becoming a patron, you can click on that link, and it talks about how you get some of those benefits. All right. That's all for today. I will be back, like I said, on Monday with a look at your work week forecast for next week.